Bonjour, chers capitaines. Et bienvenue dans une nouvelle... Excuse me, I don't know what that was. I had something in my throat. Anyway, welcome to another video on my channel where we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 5 French light cruiser, the Grasse. I'm going to start off by pointing out I did call out this blue teammate to help support this side. When spawned in, we just spawned in with 3 light cruisers on this far left side, delta side. So any assistance my division mate and I can get in this game is going to add to our ability to hold this particular flag. It just so happens that I lucked out a bit and he actually listened and came to help us out. So engaging the California, it's a pretty big target, relatively big guns for the tier, especially when you're sailing around in something like the Grasse with extremely light armor. Just about anything can pen you from any angle. But when running an Agile build, it makes it much more possible to dodge shots or at least dodge a majority of enemy shells when they shoot at me. This salvo I sent here was a little embarrassing, but hey, I'd rather try and fail, you know? You can see here that there's a Zara that's poking out behind an island. He is nearly fully broadside to me. He's got a little bit of an angle you can probably see on the map compared to my position. However, I am going to change the AP, try to punch through that armor. The Zara isn't actually that heavily armored, so I thought I would give it a shot and see what I could take off of him. I sent torpedoes, not even really realizing that he was there, and for whatever reason, he decided he was going to get greedy, or maybe he thought he wasn't getting enough cover behind that island. However, because of that move, bye-bye. See you back at port. So, now it is time to push this flank. Myself, my division mate, and this blue cruiser, friendly cruiser, now have free reign on this California. California only has so many guns. I mean, it's got a lot of guns for the tier. You're talking about 12 guns, which is a lot. However, when he's just shooting at me and I have an Agile build and I'm able to dodge the shells that he's sending my way, it essentially makes every salvo that he sends my way a waste of time. Now you can see he's switching fire over to the other cruiser, see if he can get some more luck there. I think if it was me in the California at this point, I would probably do the same. Find another target, not as agile, see if I can either completely delete them from the game or do some major damage before I die. Because, well, as you can see, slowly, well, maybe not slowly, there's a lot of fire coming into that California, and it's a battleship. It's got a lot of health pool, but it also is a very wide ship. He has almost no chance of getting away from the amount of guns that are shooting at him, and these are, for the most part, rapid firing guns. So it's back to port for the California, and now myself, my division mate, and this other friendly cruiser can now turn in and cut up towards the middle of the map and start getting a crossfire on the remaining enemy team. At this point, the enemy team doesn't have much in the way of an advantage. They're actually getting pinched. There's multiple ships firing at the ships in the middle, and by multiple, I mean there are 4, 5 ships shooting at one ship at a time. So the amount of time that they're going to be alive is going to be pretty minimal meaning that we are getting rid of their potential damage that they can deal back to our team. So pushing towards the mid, once you're done clearing the ships on your side, is pretty important. I have seen in lower tiers, say tier 3, tier 4, even tier 5, where one team or the other will clear a side. So for an example, let's say Delta side, we cleared this side, and some ships, sometimes fast, sometimes battleships, which is wild to me because most battleships at this tier are extremely slow, will take a wide approach. So they'll actually sail down towards the southwest, so outside of Charlie, out and around Charlie. I see this less within the last couple months, but I have seen it so much that it's a little concerning to see people avoid the flag entirely and try to sail out and around as if that maneuver is some kind of extreme flank that the enemy's not going to be able to avoid. I don't know the thought process behind that, but I will say, if you clear your side of the map of enemies, there should be nothing to stop you from going into an enemy-controlled flag and taking it. Even if you're a battleship, you should just sail straight for it. Now, if you're dodging torpedoes from the south, or let's say the west side of this map as you're trying to reach Charlie and you're a battleship, then by all means, maybe you should sail out toward where the torpedoes are coming from, or you should turn in and avoid torpedoes by turning your aft toward them. In a case like this where all of the enemy is pushed up into one section of the map, there's absolutely no reason that you should not take the enemy flag. It's more points for you. It's more experience for you. It's more credits for you. There's really no reason you shouldn't push enemy flags. So, rapid firing, agile, light French cruiser. This is probably one of my favorite cruisers at tier 5. It is phenomenal. I rarely have a game where I have a problem dealing a ton of damage, or I get so damaged in the beginning of the match that I'm no longer combat effective. I can't push the enemy around the map with my fires and rapid firing guns. It's pretty rare. It happens from time to time. You'll sail out, you'll get spotted first, and a majority of the enemy, mostly battleships, you'll have 2-3 battleships all shooting at you. It's hard to avoid the amount of shells that many ships can put out. However, with the Agile build, chances are you're going to dodge a majority of the salvos of the enemy players, and in a game like this, any kind of dodged salvo from an enemy battleship, you are actually supporting your team. That salvo is wasted. That's a salvo that they're not shooting at a friendly player or a division mate, where maybe that division mate or player doesn't have an agile build, so they can't dodge these shells like you would be able to. So this is just a quick example of what the Grasse can accomplish in a match like you just saw. A majority of the time, I've found that the Agile build for these light cruisers just reigns supreme compared to other types of builds. And so, that's the match. Pretty decent match for myself and my division mate. We are looking at quite a bit of hits, some torpedo hits. Anyway, gonna cut through that real quick. Top of the team, both my division mate and myself, all the damage that we did to the enemy and pushing them around, taking flags. Given that, we'll cut back and look at the commander really quick. The commander I typically use for my Agile French cruisers is Andre Roux. He's built almost identical to my American heavy cruiser Agile build. As you can see, Azure Lane Baltimore and Azure Lane Rune take up the inspiration spaces. So the same, working on that rudder shift, making the rudder shift as fast as possible so that you can maneuver as fast as possible. Ingenious, so that you can see enemies that are targeting you. You have faster gun traverse speed for your movement, for your quick rudder. Maximum cruiser speed and rudder, also maximum movement speed as the next one. So Velocious. You can use Go All Out, although I very rarely use it. Also Steer Clear. Again, you're going to have that steering repair time, automatically repairing, and you're going to increase your rudder shift. Super important. And then Fully Packed. We've talked about that. Fully Packed is extremely important for having more consumables and having those consumables come back faster. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Leave a like, hit the notification bell for future content like this, and even comment down below letting me know any ships that you're interested in seeing a closer look at, any ships you're interested in seeing gameplay of, or even other games you might be interested in seeing. I'm Buckshot Bucky. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.